It'd be awful. It would literally be awful. I can't even imagine having the entire real estate industry completely regulated. Okay. Got another comment on it was a short on YouTube. The tides are changing.
Okay.
And it was in respect to real estate values. Real estate values, how they haven't really come down, and people were expecting them to come down, even with respect to the rates. But we have already seen this with the interest rate trends with respect to housing values back in the 80s. The housing values didn't actually necessarily decrease as rates were skyrocketing into almost the 20s and mid to high teens. So somebody wrote in, it's too much money for real estate. Supply and demand is not equal. Prices do not match actual value. What's funny when people say prices don't match actual value of real estate, it's kind of counterintuitive because whatever someone's willing to pay for the real estate
is the value,
is the market value. So that doesn't make sense when someone says, oh, well, that house isn't worth that, but someone paid that for that house. They set the market value. Okay, so big misconception there. Yeah, prices do not match the actual value. All people think about is money. Okay. It's all greed, which is fair. I mean, it is what it is, but our world operates on capital, and it is what it is. The only way to make housing affordable is to completely regulate the real estate industry at set prices for land and house size with addendums for upgrades, period. This guy is totally out of his fucking tree.
Wow.
And the reason why he is out...
This is a comment on YouTube?
Yeah. So could you imagine if the powers at be came into the real estate market and completely regulated the real estate market? The powers at be can't do anything efficiently, productively, correctly. Could you imagine the shitstorm we would have if somebody came in and legitimately regulated everything? What would happen, off the top of my head, you would have a bunch of people. First of all, the powers that be are already doing this. Okay, there's already so much red tape to even get into by the time a shovel even hits the ground in terms of real estate. And that's one of the reasons why, existing real estate is so expensive. Existing real estate plays off of the cost of new builds. If the cost of new builds go up, the second-hand market will also trail behind the cost of new builds, right? So that's one. You have an extremely high, barrier for entry in the real estate market in terms of development. Then you would have a situation where you would be arguably partners with this overarching, power of, I don't even know what else to call it because I don't want to be flagged, but powers that be, you would be partners with them. And if they controlled everything and they were then responsible for, now if they controlled everything, nobody would want to own a portfolio, own real estate, any of that kind of stuff. So you have to understand that. As soon as they step in and they dictate that, hey, you can only earn X amount of dollars, if somebody's telling you what you can earn, but it's not enough to justify it for the work involved and the effort, who the fuck would want to do it? No one's going to do it. So then you're going to have these people operating the market now, and they can't do anything correctly. Look at our healthcare. Look at our education system. Like, those two alone are ridiculous. How the fuck do you expect any of that kind of shit to get done? It would be an absolute shitstorm of an issue. They can't even do what they're currently doing in the real estate market effectively. How do you think that they're going to actually control the entire thing? It would be an absolute fucking shitstorm. And then you would have the people that are actually good at operating, developing, managing, all of this kind of stuff. They'd leave. They would go do something else that they would earn more money for their time involved and their effort. So now you'd have the worst people and the arguably the most unintelligent group of people managing an industry that is on like the fucking hierarchy of needs. So you would have an absolute fucking disaster. It would be actually hilarious. Mm-hmm. Even in situations right now, a lot of people are saying like, well, you know, these powers that be, they regulate even like, you know, the roads, and they regulate, you know, the construction of this and the construction of that. I had a video pop off on TikTok about, you know, they can't do anything good, right? And some of the comments are like, well, what about the roads you drive on? What about this? What about that? And I'm like, well, okay, first of all of that construction done is all private. It's all private, okay? Mm-hmm. And pretty much everything that needs to get done like that is done by the private sector, okay? Could you imagine what that would be like if it was all public? Mm-hmm. Man, would it get just fucking pushed right down the road. It would be awful. It would literally be awful. I can't even imagine having the entire real estate industry completely regulated